Welcome back, everybody, to a new day of Starladder Season 5. I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. I'm joined here by Yepis, and we are going to be casting eL'Pride versus the new Rox.KIS. That's right, it is a new roster for them. They just got done adding Dread as well as Sharfik to their roster from Team 3D. And excited to see how this new roster does. Yepis, we missed the draft. I'm not sure if you... Well, at least I missed the draft. I was showering, but how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. Just woke up like 1 or 2 hours ago, so still pretty much we just woke up. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game, especially looking over at the picks now, man. We got a Witch Doctor. That's like the best hero, man.
Yeah, we don't exactly see many Witch Doctors, but if we look at this game, the casks are really good against Chen creeps. They stun them forever and a day. So it's an interesting pick. I mean, real quickly, what do you think about the matchup? And I guess let's talk about these two teams, how they're doing in Starladder so far.
Yeah, I haven't really seen eL'Pride play too much. I've been watching mostly, since there's so much Dota going on right now, I'm mostly watching the big matchups. But Rox.KIS, I know last time we were casting, we talked a bit about them since they lost 2 players to 3D Clan. And now Dread actually left 3D Clan and went over to Rox.KIS. They're like swapping around players a bit here. But I do believe they've been playing quite well up until this point anyways, and they for sure got the power to, or the potential to get some upsets going. So it'll be interesting to see what eL'Pride can do against them.
Yeah, as far as the standings, of course, well, we'll talk about it in a second. It looks like eL'Pride is going for a level 1 Roche. And actually kind of an obvious team, just because they have the Lone Druid. You always have to worry about it. Let's see if they can get this done. They're quick rid of Basilius. They're gonna get it done. Rox.KIS has no freaking clue. So while they're level 1 Roshi, let's introduce the team. We have BZZ is perfect, playing the Lifestealer. Sharfik on that puck, gonna be rushing the bottle, heading mid. Dread playing the Gyrocopter with a Wraithband recipe, so it looks like he won't be playing support for the Rox.KIS lineup. We have Hardev on the Keeper of the Light. Last but not least, Yol on the Witch Doctor, and he is looking rather poor.
Yeah, on the side of eL'Pride, we got a stand-in actually. He was drafting for him. So stand-in Riku is playing the Clockwork. We got
the Earthshaker!
Oh, Earthshaker! Sako playing the Earthshaker, getting bashed like 5 times in a row by Roshan.
What is this pause? Oh my goodness. This Roche is taking forever.
What?
I gotta point out, they're not doing Roche correctly. You should not have that many heroes grouped up on top of him. You really want to spread so that you're not eating that slam every, every 10 seconds, doing a shitload of damage in an AoE. They're gonna eat another one momentarily, I believe, here, as it goes out.
But then, of course, we got Massacre on the Weaver, Android P playing the Shen, and then Loico playing that Lone Druid. That's the last hero.
Yeah, he's already used the Bear Resummon. He's gonna keep it alive, though, and the Aegis is gonna go to Riku, of all players, so... Let's see where the Clockwork is going. Are they gonna run an offensive tri-lane? No idea what they're doing with their lanes here, but they chewed through a lot of regen to get this Roche done. They're all level 2, but it was not a cheap Roche. It's not a lineup where they can just kill it and then walk away scot-free. So the laning stage, they are starting at level 2. Of course, you'd think that would give them an advantage, but with very little regen on their heroes, it will cost them a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. As it looks like we actually gonna have the Lone Druid down here solo against the Gyrocopter, which is gonna be an interesting matchup since Lone Druid already sending his bear back since it was so low and no resummon. So it'll be bearless for a while, and gotta take it easy then so he doesn't need a full rocket barrage.
Barely has a bear in the lane. I want to point out this top lane is gonna go really well for eL'Pride, because how are they ever gonna kill this Weaver? Well, if he eats Illuminate Spam, maybe they will, but in theory they should not be able to kill him, especially with Earthshaker sitting behind him, so they can leave 2 heroes here. Weaver will get farmed, he can do some harassment. And committing 3 heroes to not be able to kill the Weaver is overall should work out pretty well for eL'Pride. As for the middle lane, the one lane we haven't looked at, it's a Clockwork mid. He's going to salve up. He already has his bottle and is going to have a big advantage over this puck in the lane, even though he's used up his last salve. A bottle as well as the level advantage this early, so annoying to lane against. And Chen already level 3. Those two early creeps are coming fairly soon. They're going to go on Chen here as Fissure is on cooldown. There's the open wounds to start. The cast to follow. The creep working against him, and the Illuminate splashes through, but just not enough follow-up. Just don't have the killing power at the early levels.
Yeah, and it looks like Nyx actually might be in some trouble. He's going to be able to get away, though. But like we were talking about in the mid lane, we got Puck against Clockwork, and Clock actually having that Aegis as well, so he can play really aggressive if he wants to. Just pretty much pushing this Puck out of the lane and not being scared of dying at least once.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the Aegis is going to expire probably right around the time he hits level 6, so when you get that hook, just go for it. Keeper Light picks up an invis top lane, and the bottom lane, now that the Bear's back, the resummon's actually off cooldown, but Dread got a little bit of an early farm advantage here in the lane. He was pulled as well, sitting on a lot of regen. Not a bad matchup, all things considered. Gyrocopter does okay against Lone Druid. Just because the Lone Druid ever tries to dive him, you can kind of turn the fight around with the Rocket Barrage away from the creeps. But still a lane where overall eL'Pride looks like they have the superior lanes. They're going to do well mid with the early Aegis on the Clockwork. The Weaver's not going to die top unless he really misplays. And they're getting a lot of XP and farm for the pulls. And then, of course, the off lane. Lone Druid will get a lot out of this lane. So the laning stage looking like it will heavily favor eL'Pride, especially with the early level 1 Roche.
Yeah, most likely. But I do like the decision, though, with Gyro being in bottom lane, maxing out the flat cannon. Since Lone Druid, before he hits level 6, he's quite squishy. He doesn't have too much HP, so the flat cannon's harass is really going to bring him down quite low. As we can see already, he's getting low, no more regen, probably going to save up for those Tranquil Boots and get those out so he can get some regen against the Gyro. So he's going to be able to put some great harassment, at least until the Lone Druid hits level 6.
Yeah, he's 13 and 6 right now. The Lifesteal's farming very well. On top of that, he's 15 and 4. But experience-wise, that's going to be the big difference this game. They have almost a 2k experience lead, and we can see it reflected across the board. Lone Druid, Chen, Weaver, and the Clockwork all sitting at level 4 or higher, and that's just an insanely powerful start. The Earthshaker only level 2, but overall, the level advantage going their way. The question is, what can they make happen once that Chen hits 5, once that Clock hits 6? Because if they don't make anything happen, the game will start to stabilize. Later on, that experience lead doesn't mean as much, but wow, Dread is just crushing this lane, really driving the Lone Druid back. Lone Druid sitting at only 9 and 5 CS, getting not much, but he's getting the levels. That, of course, is the main thing. Now have access to Entangle, and the Tranquil Boots are coming soon.
Yeah, for sure. And so a dive most likely won't be able to happen from Dread if he gets a lucky Entangle from the Bear. But wow, he's taking a lot of damage from that flat cannon.
Not a fun lane. Not a fun lane at all. Especially because the Gyrocopter got pulled.
Yeah. And looks like top, I actually really like the decision they had from eL'Pride, having the Earthshaker and the Weaver. Like you were saying, pretty much impossible to kill. Just Earthshaker being one of the best defensive supports you have with that long-range Fissure. Looks like it's really going the way of eL'Pride. Or Weaver's falling a bit behind.
This Keeper's in a lot of trouble. First blood by Massacre. Just slightly out of position. Down he goes. And in comes Clock. Long range hook. Still has the Aegis up. Doesn't care if he dies. Yol is going to get YOLO'd. Maybe not. Diving test the tower is the Weaver. Double for him. They want some more. They're onto the Lifestealer. Fissure will not fly because of that rage. They can still chase though. It's going to wear off quickly. It's only level 1 rage. And oh, into the tower they won't go because Massacre's out of... Oh, they do have creeps. He should be okay. Chen should send him back to base any moment now. Not doing so yet. Massacre's like, please. Well, he'll get the tower first, then he'll go. He might die to this Illuminate. He might die to this. Oh, just sit back in the nick of time. That was close.
Very close play there. Like I was saying, the Weaver was falling behind a bit in last hits, just having those double supports from Rox.KIS. It looks like Shen really wants this tower, and they're going to be able to get it a knife from the Witch Doctor. So that's good at least when they're really... what was I about to say? When they really commit for that.
Dread's manning up bottom lane. He drops the ult, but it's going to whiff. That first Entangle does a lot. The second Entangle will be the end if he can get it, but the Bear doesn't have boots, and it was slowed by the ultimate. Still, it shows you the power of the Lone Druid, getting crushed in CS all through the lane. Meanwhile, mid lane, Dreamcoil gets dropped onto Riku. Orb is going to hit, but this is a big way to dive. The Cogs are going to push him back. He's taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, top lane, there is a dive. There's a hook mid. Riku mans up, has the rocket in about 8 seconds. Won't be enough, but top lane, Weaver gets yet another kill, and they ran an aggressive tri-lane to shut this Weaver down, to hopefully shut the Chen down, but it ain't happening, WebS.
Oh, this game is really going in the favor of eL'Pride right now, even though the top 3 farmers of the game is for Rox.KIS. Just how the lanes are shaping up, it's really in eL'Pride's favor, and most likely hopefully for them, we're probably going to see a Roche as soon as it spawns again if they manages to, since they got the first tower in mid, or in top, if they can move into mid and get that tower as well, they might be able to get another Roche as well and just try and make sure that their lead stays up.
Yeah, I really love the play from eL'Pride. As soon as that Aegis is close to expiring, the Chen has the 2 creeps. They start pushing top at level 5 with the Rite of Basilius, with the Aegis. Clockwork dives in at like a quarter HP. Doesn't matter. The Aegis is about to be done anyway. They end up getting quite a few kills, and heck, even if they only got 1 kill, or even if they just got the tower, it's worth it because the Aegis is down. So I thought it was just really solid play. Not just the level 1 Roche, but it's what you do with it afterwards. I think that really defines whether or not it's a big game changer. And like you said, they do have 3 strong farmers of Rox.KIS, and they have a great mid game. They're not out of this yet. Plus, eL'Pride not getting that many towers just yet, but the real timing is going to be once this Chen gets his mech, which should be relatively early. Once the Lone Druid maybe gets that first small item, like the phase boots on the bear, towards the Maelstrom perhaps, and perhaps we see the Weaver getting a Vitality booster. What can they do over the course of, say, that 10 to 15 minute mark? Because Rox.KIS, not an easy lineup to push into.
Yeah, for sure. They got the Illuminate spam to be able to push that out, as well as the Cask to just stop the heroes. If they get some lucky bounces, Fisher going into mid and just some rocket harassment. But nothing great. He's gonna get hooked in ill.
Oh, what a hook.
Going out.
No Sharpeek. No out for you. That was not good enough. Oh, he might actually live. He's going to. He's got another phase shift in 3 seconds. Earthshaker wants this kill. Gonna throw the fissure. Where's that phase? He's gonna dodge it. He's still running. ES is probably gonna die for this. Oh, his insolence. Webs. What a play from Sharpeek.
Great phase shift there. I do wonder why the Earthshaker stopped his first fissure there. He had it when phase shift was down. I think he was trying to bait it out while it was still on cooldown actually, and then when it wasn't on cooldown he just managed to get a perfect phase shift and get the counter kill. So really overextension there from eL'Pride.
Yeah, suddenly double kill for the puck when it looked like an easy kill on him to begin with. Now he's got phase boots, and he's gonna hurt some of these squishies. If he hits a Dream Coil, a Silence, and an Orb on 2 or 3 heroes like Weaver, like Chen, you could still burst this Chen down before he can actually use his Hand of God, and of course the Hand of God's on cooldown anyway, and if you do that, the backlines of eL'Pride are a little bit squishy right now.
Yeah, for sure, and the great thing with puck early on is that if you get those early levels and get a good advantage, maybe get a blink up fast, like you said, the burst is for sure going to be there, and if he gets the Silence on Shen, they should be able to bring down pretty much any hero they want. Especially this Weaver who is really, really squishy early on. Being able to get the Silence out before the time lapse could be huge if he wants to go and gank him and just stop him even further.
So who are you favoring right now? eL'Pride, they got that level 1 Roche. They have a strong mid game with the early mech buyer on the Chen, but Rox.KIS, all 3 of their cores, getting a lot of farm. In fact, 3 of the top 4 net worth sitting on the Rox.KIS side. I mean, give up a level 1 Roche, no problem. They're battling back. Right now, do you have a favorite in this race?
I do like the position Rox.KIS is in right now. Since the puck managed to get a double kill in mid, he's gonna be able to jump up a bit in net worth, as well as just being able to move around the map a bit, getting those extra levels, being level 8 right now. But also, it really depends on if eL'Pride can capitalize and maybe getting the second Roshan quite early on. If they don't do that, it feels like they're going to fall into a farming game, and going up against the Gyro as well as the Nikes could be really, really bad for them in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, also, a lot of their backline heroes, like the Earthshaker and the Chen, if we look at these heroes, what do they do when a puck jumps on them with, say, a Lifestealer infested inside of him? They can't really do anything. The Fissure isn't going to help you unless you can somehow Fissure block them away, but with a Blink Dagger and Rage, you can't count on the stun, and it gets a little bit hard to actually land that. And if they could just burst those backlines down, eL'Pride is a great team fight with Fissure landing and actually stunning heroes, and with Hand of God going off at the right moments. But if they're wasted, or if they don't land, well, eL'Pride is suddenly going to be finding themselves fighting 3v5. So I think Rox.KIS is surprisingly in a very strong position, and I agree with you. After that puck gets the double kill, it really stabilizes them in the game, and they're still holding on to the tier 1 mid and the tier 1 top, and they're doing it against a Lone Druid and a Chen who had a really fast start.
Yeah, and I do wonder what eL'Pride is going to be able to have to bring down this Lifestealer. As we usually see, Lifestealers, as soon as they manage to get that armlet up, they're pretty much impossible to kill unless you got some heavy burst coming out, or silencer, or silence, or anything like that to stop the rage coming out. And especially when they have a Lone Druid on their own team, he's going to be able to open wounds that bear and pretty much have his own fountain just sitting there waiting for him to heal himself up. So I'm a bit scared about eL'Pride's position going up against the Gyro and the Lifestealer, but if they manage to get that second Roche and see if they can get a greater advantage, that could help them out quite a lot.
Oh boy. Well, we're having a bit of a prolonged pause, guys. We do have 3 Starladder matches coming up today, and while we have a moment, I'm actually going to double check what they are so I can tell y'all, because I did post about it on my Facebook. Let's see. I think we have Virtus Pro and No Tidehunter playing in the next 2 matches. It's going to be No Tidehunter versus Fota and Virtus Pro versus 3D Max. Not necessarily the most exciting matchups, but still important as far as the standings go, because neither of these teams has actually... Well, No Tide has secured a berth. But Virtus Pro has not done so yet. So for them, winning out is going to be important to make sure they can actually attend those LAN finals.
Yeah,
I don't think they've secured a berth. I should actually double check that. I'm gonna do that now.
I don't have the standings up, so I can't tell you either. But guess you'll just have to look it up, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Before I start spitting nonsense here. Yeah. Let's see. VP 9-3. So. Or maybe it's Mouse who hasn't secured a berth yet. I'm not 100% sure. But they're kind of like, they're real close to a couple of teams. Empire's only 1 loss behind them. And Na'Vi was not out of the running until yesterday when they lost that 5th game. Empire only having 4 losses. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that VP has not secured a berth yet. But I believe with 1 or 2 more wins, they will do so. Even if it's that 3rd or 4th seed. And with that being said, it looks like we are going to be ready to unpause and get back inside the game. So... currently, just to get the state of the game sort of in check, Dire leading by about 2k gold. Remember, there's a Roche going their way, as well as a tower. So when you take that out of the equation, it's dead even in terms of gold. And on experience, they have that 2k experience lead, but a lot of that is going to be Roche poking from Rico onto the creeps mid lane. Not going to amount to anything.
Yeah, like you were saying, the experience lead pretty much being that Roche on, since we can see both the Lasses and the Lenais really going in the favor of Rox.KIS right now. 3 out of the 4 top farmers of the game are on Rox.KIS' side. So they really managed to shut down that Weaver up top, even though we said that they're most likely not going to get killed, and he never did get killed, and he actually got 3 kills himself.
Oh, Dread, bottom lane, Fissure to start. Echo Slam is not here, but the rocket comes in. And down will go. Good rotation. So Dread is going hell with a Dominator here, and I'm personally not a big fan of this. I really like the Shadow Blade, even if you don't get kills, just because it forces the enemy supports to buy sentries, and I mean, it's a very cost-efficient DPS item aside from that. Sure, you can stack Ancients, but you have a lineup where Hero Keeper, the Light, or Witch Doctor probably isn't doing a whole lot else anyway. They could be doing it for you, so I don't know. I'm not really convinced by this Helm of the Dominator build, and it's certainly not going to help you if you get ganked like that. If he had a Shadow Blade, well, he wouldn't have been done yet, but it would be getting close, and if he'd gone for Shadow Blade, it can save him from ganks like that.
Yeah, for sure. I do like the Helm of the Dominator. Could be good though if he got his team. If they're gonna stack up the Ancients for him, if you're gonna share that creep with them. So their late game potential is for sure gonna be there with the Helm of the Dominator. But like you said, the Shadowblade could be really good, just forcing sentries out of the enemy team really early on, forcing the supports to focus on that instead of getting items up like the Blink Dagger and the Arcane Boots on the Earthshaker. So it looks like they're gonna go in for the second Roche now.
So I saw a Chainmail on the Chen Weapus, and I'm like, well, they must be going for the early mech, but he goes back for Medallion just to secure the second Roche. But the issue is Medallion don't help you push too much. I mean, it's okay for finding kills, but not a team item like the mech is. It's not going to break the fights open in your favor. So they get the Aegis, but the question will be, what can they do with this Aegis after they pick it up? And right now, I'm still not feeling like they have any way to push into Rox.KIS. It's not just the Keeper of the Light. Clockwork and Gyrocopter are great counter pushers, and even a hero like Witch Doctor, the cask is fantastic against Chen Creep, so if you're eL'Pride, I guess they're just playing for the late game, but is that really the way to go when you're up against Rox.KIS? I still think this is favored Rox.KIS. They're going to contest this Roche. There's a hook, catches Sharfeek, the silence though, and the Dream Coil deploy, but Roche is dropping low. Everybody is dropping low as well on the enemy team. Then comes an Illuminate, splashes through, doesn't do enough in the end, and now the chase going the other way. I hear a Gyrocopter ultimate. He's going onto the bear, but not really doing any damage. Lifestealer's running as well, trying to circle around, but Lodger can simply run back down the river, regroup with his team. Meanwhile, Weaver gets caught, but actually, sorry, it's the Witch Doctor gets caught. The Weaver is back up. And in the end, they lose 2. They don't stop the Roche. The tides turn again, this time the other way.
Like you were saying, it's going to be very interesting to see now what they can do with this egg. Is kind of gonna have, or they're kind of forced to go pushing now and just play very aggressive and see if they can get more pick-off kills like they got right around the Roche pit there. Because that's pretty much what's going to keep them in the game. Like we were saying, late game, most likely going to have some trouble going up against the Rox.KIS roster, especially the Gyro, like we were saying, going for that Helm of Dominator, most likely going to sack up the Ancients and go farm that. That's going to bring him a great deal of gold and experience.
Oh man, people say Phantom Lancer is broken. I'm sorry, but if any hero is broken in Dota right now, it's probably this guy. This Keeper of the Light. If not broken, then certainly way more annoying to play against in my book than a Phantom Lancer. And, well, he's slowing down this push, but it's not going to be enough. The tower's going to fall soon. Earthshaker looking for a fissure, but only going to catch the Puck, and, well, blocks him away, but Puck doesn't care about that. Can drop a Dream Coil, will do so. Catches the Weaver as well, who then dies to the Illuminate. He doesn't have Aegis, he'll come right back, but can they bring him down again? There's a Centaur Stomp. There's going to be a Rocket Barrage. Centaur Stomp is there. Dust is there. They burst him down. Triple for Sharfeek. And there's your Blink Dagger and about 600 gold.
Wow, a great fight coming up from Rox.KIS here, and really shut down that second Aegis. And like we were saying, if they couldn't really find any opening with that Aegis, it would be quite hard for them. As we see bottom lane, Sharfik actually taking a lot of damage from the bear, getting entangled once. Silence coming out. Oh, and getting another tangle. He's gonna go down to a solo kill from the Lone Druid, and that's a great job.
Yeah, meanwhile, Riku dies mid lane, but they do hold on to the tower for the moment. Fissure on 2. No follow-up. Everybody's low. God, my kingdom for that Weaver being alive right now, because he probably could have dove that and gotten 2, 3, maybe even 4 kills with the bugs, as well as Sakuchi spam. He's gone for drums, so they're just getting these cheap, cost-effective items to help them push, but not building anything bigger, despite getting 2 Roches. Echo deployed just for BZZ is perfect. He's got rage. Massacre throws out the bugs. They will chew away on him, but not doing too much. Tower's dropping low. There is a glyph. There could be a TP from the gyro, from the puck in 2 seconds, but it looks like the damage will be done. The tower's going to fall. They do finally get the tier 1, but man, they had to work for that.
Yeah, like you were saying, drums coming up for the Weaver, so they're really going for this mid-game finish with going hard push, trying to get gold up on the Weaver and getting him farmed from pushing Lone Druid, just staying down in bottom lane, trying to push that lane out as well. Gotta check what he got on his bear. He got armlet up on his bear right now, actually.
No,
so
not this. This is so cheesy. Armlet bear, one of the most annoying things in the game. It really is such a cost-effective item for the Lone Druid. Doesn't scale as well as others, like obviously Radiance is going to accelerate your farm a lot, but like you were saying, if they're going for these mid-game items, and if they go for that, well, this is going to help them fight now, rather than fight a little bit better in, say, 10-15 minutes.
yeah, not going for that Maelstrom, since Maelstrom doesn't... We usually see that Maelstrom build or the Radiance build, and like you were saying, Radiance really helps boosting the farm, but since they don't want to go for a farm game, going for that armlet, increasing the damage on the bear, going to help them push quite a lot more. Like you can see on the Rox.KIS side though, they're really going for that late game dread. Stacking up the Ancients quite a lot, gonna go there with the Flat Cannon now and Helm of the Dominator to get some farm. And this is the great thing with Gyro, with Helm of the Dominator, Flat Cannon just being so good to farm up the Ancients as well as the jungle. Really, really fast and getting a lot of golden experience.
You know, if you're eL'Pride, you saw this Gyro was going Helm of the Dominator a good 5 minutes ago, as he did have the Helm of Iron Will. And you gotta think, man, if they had a mech, they could really be forcing some fights, going for these extra towers, and at least having some way to tank Illuminate, which still is not even max, by the way. But they're not going for it yet. Clockwork has gone for an urn, but somebody's gotta be building a pipe now. Unless they plan on taking this really late, man up for Massacre, man down from Sharfik on the top lane. The split push seems to be the style preferred by eL'Pride, but split pushing is one thing, but you've got to stop the enemy carries from farming, and still if we look at net worth, Lone Druid he's started to claim the lead. Weaver's up there, but not too much. Massacre gets ulted bottom lane, top lane rather. The silence is there as well. He will die. The drone's just not enough for OHP, and there was no Hand of God. Bad team communication from eL'Pride. A Hand of God there should have been enough to save him if it was placed early, as it will mitigate most of that additional Maledict damage if you use it quickly.
Yeah, and a great pickoff kill getting that Weaver, since they're going for this push strat. Having heroes dead is really gonna slow them down quite a lot. But it looks like, and it feels like they're actually just waiting for the third Roche already to see if they can make a move out of that.
Is it really already time for the third Roche? Yeah, we're only 5 minutes off.
Yeah, about 5 minutes off, yeah.
Crazy. Oh, we have a lifestealer bomb, by the way.
Yeah, but it feels like they're really just trying to wait out that third Roche, get another Aegis and get Shees as well, and then go for a 5-man push right now because they're playing very passive, farming the jungle with 2 or 3 heroes, and just playing really cautious at the moment.
Yeah, Sharfik's lurking on the bottom lane, but Lone Druid is definitely wise to this, as there was an observer placed very cleverly deep in enemy territory too, in fact, so all the movements are spotted. They're trying to secure that map control, maybe find a kill or two, but this is not a hero you really want to go on. Blinking for the puck. Here comes the lifesteal, and it looks like he should be able to burst down Earthshaker. Echo Slam deployed, but does absolutely nothing. And now the rage wears off. Looks like we have a Keeper of the Light trap, but he's got some backup. BZZ is perfect, comes in. Chen's gonna come in. Those casks are bouncing, slowing down the creeps. Look how long that Centaur is stunned for. Down goes Android. Here comes the Gyro as well. Entangle for Lifestealer, not dropping just yet though. Dropping low, but it's not quite enough. The Clockwork picking up yet another kill. This one on the Keeper of the Light, but they're not killing the cores, and now the chase goes the other way. Nice body blocking from Sharfik. In comes the Rocket. In comes the call down, as well as the Barrage, and Lolik is gonna fall again. The Maledict finishes the job, and they lose 2. Roche is coming soon. Earthshaker did not buy back. He just respawned. They're fighting without the Weaver, who actually is quite important in these prolonged fights. Meanwhile, Clockwork still fighting, will finally fall. Lifestealer actually dies. Oi, oi, oi. The cogs bounce, armlet toggling off at just the wrong moment, enough to bring him down. What a chaotic fight.
Yeah, but a great fight overall for Rox.KIS, though. Only losing 2 heroes. Even though they lost their lifestealer, Dread got quite a bit out of that. As well as he was pretty much farming the whole start of the fight, and Keeper of the Light managed to TP in him right before he went down. So just overall a good fight for Rox.KIS, and this is really stopping eL'Pride from their pushing timing. Just losing heroes like that is gonna slow down their farm a bit, as well as just losing map control.
There seems to be a little dissonance between the item selections and the team decision-making of eL'Pride. They're building items that are mostly mid-game items, things like Armlet on the Lone Druid, Drums on the Weaver. If you build these items, even a Medallion on the Chen to get that extra Roche, this is because you want to get an early to mid-game gold advantage and then go push and secure the map control. But they're playing it split push style for the most part. It doesn't really add up for me. A really early gem on Sharfik. I love this decision. You're up against a Weaver. You can get that map control back, and Puck is elusive enough that it's very unlikely they'll be able to kill him. They don't have much lockdown for the Puck. Fissure, not reliable versus Phase Shift because of that long windup. And, I mean, even things like Cogs and Hook are not going to be a total solution when you can just orb away. So I think this early gem a fantastic choice, and Sharfik's on the hunt again.
This looks like he's going to move up top and see if he can get this Weaver. He got the Nyx inside of him, so he can blink up and Dream Call if he wants to. He got the vision for it. That should be an easy pickoff kill. Massacre goes down once again on his Weaver.
Yeah, the gem already paying for itself, and you know, drums are not they're a good pushing item, but on a hero like Weaver, you need more than this to live through the burst. That Puck silence lasts forever. It's a 3-second silence, and when you have a gem, that means Lifestealer gets 3-4 attacks off during rage, and that's normally going to be enough to bring you down. Just the Puck alone is going to do over half his HP. They're grouping up to push bottom. But have they started to miss that window of opportunity? There's a hook, catches out Hard Deep, but the Cog's not going to be there. Now he's trapped in a horrible prison of his own making. Riku, Ghost Scepter deployed, diving onto the Witch Doctor, will cancel that ultimate, still chasing these supports, doing a nice job of disrupting the backlines, but the real fight breaks out over to the right. Sharfik has jumped in, Lifestealer pops out, Dread on the chase, Lone Druid on the run, not looking good for Lowly. Blink, bink, bink, there's your rocket landing, and now some more additional damage coming out from that rocket barrage. Lowly tries to TP away, but he is too late, mister. Dies again. I really feel this game plan, just Rox.KIS has all the answers for it, and it's all because eL'Pride were so playing split push but building 5-man items. Something isn't really adding up in the overall strategy, and just good play for Rox.KIS to counter it as well. Lifestealer bombs are really making the difference in these fights.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like every time they go in for a fight, they're always missing 1 or 2 players. It looks like they're almost everybody there all the time, but they're always missing out on 1 or 2 heroes, so really not getting the advantage that they want. And having the Keeper of the Light on the Rox.KIS side, they're always going to be able to have 1 hero farming, and at this point it's Dread farming on the Gyrocopter and Lifestealer pretty much sitting inside of the Puck all the time and just waiting to be able to get pickoffs.
And he's at it again with this. Look at this. Again with the blink. He's going to kill this Weaver again. I have a feeling this doesn't look good. Blake, silence, pops out, and that's a dead Weaver. I think, no, Hand of God is there. Finally, it will be there to save him. That'll force them back. So the first Lifestealer bomb fail of the game, but drive your Weaver back, putting the Hand of God on cooldown, and that has a very long cooldown, 2 minutes at this point in the game, pretty much, and well, that Hand of God, you're definitely not pushing. So despite not getting the kill, I think still a solid choice, and Dread is fat. He's got the Eagle Psalm, the Butterfly's coming soon, and once the Butterfly comes out, how do they kill this guy? They don't have that much magical damage. Truth be told, they don't have much damage, period, and what they do have is primarily physical. Unfortunately, the Weaver doesn't seem to be in the fights or living long enough to do the damage, and Lone Druid with an Armlet doesn't really scare a Gyrocopter with the Butterfly at all. He's pretty much immune to damage once he gets that.
He's quite far away from going in MKB as well, and most likely not even go for that. If they want to go for the push strat, he might even go for an AC before that. So we'll have to see. The Gyrocopter is going to be really hard to bring down, as middle tower is most likely going to get... Oh, it gets denied by Riku. This Massacre comes into the fight as well.
Whiffs the hook, in comes the fissure. Good damage being done. Yoel's still alive though. How is he still alive? The bugs bring him down. Massacre will ult and run away. They get the pick off on the Witch Doctor. Had the hook landed, maybe could have been a better fight, or perhaps would have ended poorly for the Claw, because he was hulking like 3-4 heroes. They're going to go for Roche number 3. They're going to have Aegis. They're going to have Cheese. They've got to make something happen with this, because if they don't, well, then you're going to look at a Lifestealer with probably that Desolator, that next big damage item. Keeper of the Light might have his mech complete. We're looking at a Puck who's going to be working towards something, maybe a Yule Scepter, a Force Staff, or even potentially that Scythe of Ice. And Gyrocopter, well, he's already got the Lifestealer. The Butterfly is on its way right now, and then he can start looking towards another big damage item. Or even something like a Manta style, just to kind of be able to run away, maybe even Manta out of the cogs if he gets lucky with it. And obviously Manta out of Entangle is fantastic, so this is their timing window. If they don't find it now, Yepis, I don't know. It's not looking good for them.
It's just like you're saying, this is pretty much going to be their window opportunity to see if they can manage to bring down the racks of Rox.KIS, and if they get a good fight right now, it's going to be very hard for them to get back into this game. We actually see Weaver picking up both the Aegis as well as the She, so he's just tired of dying from that Max Bone right now. He just wants the extra HP.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Sharfik has a Lifestealer inside of him. He's going to go for the tower deny here. Not going to find it, but just not afraid. They don't have that instant stun. They don't have a Hex. They don't have any way to punish this aggressive posture from Sharfik. The bugs fly out. The phase shift will be used to dodge them. And Sharfik wants to go in. Thinking about it with the orb anyway. So they get the tier 2. They need more than that, though. I feel with this Aegis and this Cheese, they have to break the base. Or this is really going to be Rox.KIS's game. In terms of gold, they're ahead by 2k. That's nothing at this point in the game. They're ahead by 4k experience. It's nice. Or the Dire ahead. Or no, Radiant are even ahead by 4k experience. So they have a tiny gold advantage on the side of eL'Pride. But, oh, here comes the Lifestealer bomb again. Sharfik's on the move.
Yeah, and even though they're ahead a bit in gold, this looks like they might want to try and go for mid. Dread, though, he's almost doubling the last hits of the Lone Druid. And he pretty much got the Lone Druid as well as the Weaver's last hits all together. So right now, he's getting a lot of farm. You can see the Armlet Bearer actually doing quite a lot of damage. He got the Hyperstone right now, so he might just go for that AC to be able to get the minus armor and push better.
Sharfik gonna orb in. There's the Infest Bomb. Lots of damage. Here comes the cooldown. The pain is here. Echo just for the gyro. They're trying to focus him down, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be enough. Dread's still tanking. Dread's still fighting. He even gets entangled. An additional orb thrown out by the Puck. How is Dread still alive? Oh, that's right. He's got a freaking Butterfly. Triple kill for him. Dread can't die. Team wipe with Aegis and Cheese, and I think they used everything they did. That's it. 7 lives. Rox.KIS's game fully in their control, and eL'Pride triple Roche for them, and still looking like they're about to lose this one.
Dread just standing there in the middle, since everybody grouped up around him, trying to bring him down. Just that flat cannon doing so much damage since they couldn't bring him down. And you saw the Weaver went into the other side, and suddenly he's died from the flat cannon damage, pretty much. I just like Sharfik's moving up the top to get that tower, so they're gonna get a tower as well as a full team wipe out of this, and this is looking really good for Rox.KIS.
I just couldn't get over the fact that Gyrocopter got entangled twice in that fight. They were focusing him with everything they had. The Lone Druid, the Echo Slam was thrown on him, the Fissure, the Enchant Totem. He just sits there and calmly auto-attacks, and his big damage item is just a Butterfly. He doesn't even have a Satanic yet, but he's just life-stealing up, and the issue is they can't actually hit him. They're missing 35% of their attacks. His Butterfly gives you 35% evasion. It used to be 30, but it's been buffed, I guess, a couple of patches ago at this point, and if you don't have an MKB or True Strike, that really hurts, and now Rox.KIS really in control of this game, pushing the lanes aggressively. There's your Blink, your Dream Coil, Hand of God thrown out. They might be able to live, potentially turn this around. Who's this Weaver going to go for? It looks like Hardeep will be the choice. They will get the Keeper of the Light, but Sharfik should be able to survive. Has that phase shift, has that blink. Phase shifts now, blinks in a second. No, doesn't blink in time. May actually pay for this as a result. Orbs away, can TP out. I believe, oh sorry, doesn't have a TP scroll, that's why he's in trouble. Blinks away, again, may yet die. I think they saw he doesn't have a blink dagger yet. The Fissure's gonna whiff, or a TP yet, and no, he's gonna orb away again, into the trees. Still running, wasting a lot of time. Even if he dies, doing decent damage just economically as the Gyro continues to farm. Sharfik will fall in the end though. Earthshaker whacks them all.
That's a good pickup though, since it was 2 heroes committed to try and kill off that.
Oh no, this is not a good pick-off if you're on the eL'Pride side. Bottom lane, Lolik getting entangled. The Rocket not going to be here in time. There's no Basher, so he will be able to TP away. And they're going to push top, but something you've pointed out is it feels like they never have 5, and this will be another push without 5.
Missing that Lone Druid, and it's very important right now to have him with them, since he's got that armlet on the bear, they need that extra damage.
There's the hook. It's going to initiate on Clockwork. Gets trapped inside of the cogs and cannot use his ultimate. BZZ is perfect. Taking a lot of damage from the bugs. Still has the armlet. Still has the Desolator. Not enough to bring him down. There's the Clockwork ultimate. Now he throws it out. Good damage done. Dread with the double. Feeling out of control at this point. The cog, or the cask will bounce through. Dread still giving chase. They have a gem on the Lifestealer. Down the Weaver will go. Triple for Dread. Playing carry like he plays the support, which is to say, like a boss. Ultra for him. And I think it's just about time for eL'Pride to tap out. I mean, they're just beating their head against a brick wall. The Reaver's now up. The Satanic is up. Dread can't be killed. And Rox.KIS, despite giving up 3 Roches uncontested, cannot be stopped.
They're playing really well right now. As we see, the Lifestealer actually got the Deso as well as the Armlet, so his farm is quite well. Even though he only died once actually on that tri-lane, which was really good for him. But just looking over at Dread's farm, he's up to 200 last hits already, and he's doubling the last hits of the Lone Druid. And Lone Druid really hurting, managed to get another item after this Armlet coming up. He only got the Hyperstone, never managed to finish up an AC, and for him to be able to bring down Dread, he needs both the AC as well as an MKB on that bear to be able to do enough damage.
I hear a hook, it's gonna catch up. Poor Witch Doctor. Yeah, sorry y'all. You ain't living through that. The cogs are gonna bounce the gyro away. Really nice fissure. That should end the aggression, but it doesn't. Sharpbeak is looking to blink in, has that Dream Coil. Could he go? Not going just yet, but thinking about it. And Dread tried to siege this base, has the ult, has the rocket in a few seconds, and with Satanic and another 2.2k. The Daedalus could be coming out next. The MKB could be coming out next. Whatever he wants, really. Heck, go for a Divine Rapier, because you ain't dying. eL'Pride, they have Fissure, and they have Clockwork cogs, I guess. I mean, they have a few small disables, but they don't have enough stuns to keep this gyro from auto-attacking, and that's why there just doesn't seem to be any way for eL'Pride to take a fight anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rapier coming up right now. He is pretty much immortal. Having that Satanic as well as the Butterfly is giving him a lot of HP as well as that evasion, like you said, 35% evasion. So adding on a Rapier there would pretty much just make him able to roll over eL'Pride solo. Just hitting either the bugs in front of him he can do, or just hitting the bear with a flat cannon is pretty much going to kill off the rest of the team of eL'Pride. So game really looking good for Rox.KIS right now, and I do wonder what eL'Pride can do to see if they can get back into this game.
Well, at this point, neither of these teams is actually in contention for the Starladder Land Finals, but it's a good start for Rox.KIS with the new roster. Of course, recently adding Dread as well as Sharfeek to the team. I believe that just happened yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, but just in the last day or two. And Dread on that carry role, I gotta say, I'm impressed this game. He laned against the Lone Druid, which is one of the hardest matchups for any hero. But you pointed out, the flat cannon is really good against the Lone Druid, so a smart skill build from him. I wasn't convinced about the Helm of the Dominator. I felt he kind of got away with that because eL'Pride didn't punish it by just 5-manning earlier, building the Medallion on Chen instead of the early mech. But it is working out at the end, and his item selection since then, the Butterfly, obviously the perfect choice for this game, because the only way eL'Pride can kill him is with physical damage, and they just don't have enough. So at this point, opting to skip the BKB seems like a solid choice as well. There's not that many stuns. And the way the game's developing, the new Rox.KIS lineup looking fairly legit.
Yeah, they're playing really well so far.
It's not many teams who can give up 3 Roches and a cheese, and 3 Aegises and a cheese, and still calmly but surely just look to win the game.
And it looks like they're really comfortable in giving up those, since they feel like their lineup is going to win them late game anyways. I don't think they really had a problem with giving up those Aegises, but it's like Dread just standing on the front lines, getting the flat cannon damage out, sending out a rocket on the Earthshaker, and they're going to bring down this tower. They might just move up to top now, get the last tower, and then go to siege the base. Have to see about that. Roche is going to be up in
oh no,
too long
your
time.
Edge.
Don't pussy out now, go for Rapier.
Where's that Rapier, Dread? You disappoint me, son, if you don't. Well, I'm sure. I think he's holding on to this Demon Edge, and once they break the base, they'll bust the Rapier out if he can farm it up, which... you know, a Rampage or two, a couple of towers, will definitely have it. Now they're looking for the last outer towers. The Besieged are suddenly eL'Pride. They used to be the Besiegers, but no longer the case. They're going to go for the backstab. They might get a Courier, which has a Basher as well as an Ultimate Orb. It's still sitting on the Basher. The smoke is revealed. Nice cogs pushing Dread away, but the smoke gank, apparently they want to get out of this one. Now Lone Druid's manned up. into a Witch Doctor who's dropping a big ultimate. Lots of damage done. Clockwork will hook in. Locky Dread in plays. Oh my goodness, there's your Blade Mail, and he's killing himself on the Blade Mail. They're still holding the fight. Oi, oi, oi. Rox.KIS so far, but a good backstab. Maybe enough to turn this around. They've lost the Gyrocopter, the primary DPS. Now it's going to be eL'Pride on the hunt. Rox.KIS trying to get away. Is there an infest to escape? There is, but he's not using it yet. Surprise. Turns around. Even with just the lifesteal alive, still mauling away. Massacre dropping low. And there's your cogs, but the puck can look to break out. No, actually not because of the bugs. Doing the damage, preventing him from escaping. He'll go down. PCZ is perfect. Still has infest. Still not using it. Maybe could have looked to infest to creep and then fight again once Rage was up, but in the end, will go down to a team wipe going the other way. Gyrocopter, I don't even know if he used Satanic in that fight, but the Blade Mail from the Clockwork apparently just butchered him.
I do believe he never managed to get that Satanic off, so a great fight for eL'Pride. Only problem is they lost their Lone Druid, so pushing is going to be very hard without having that Lone Druid up as well as the Bear up. So they might not actually get too much out of this, but still a great fight. Being able to lock down that Gyrocopter and just getting a full team wipe is always good, especially delaying that Gyrocopter from getting his next big item. Since he picked up that Demon Edge, we'll have to see what he wants to go for. Most likely an MKB to make sure he doesn't kill himself, especially now when the Blade Mail is up. Could be quite devastating if he kills himself with that rapier into a Blade Mail.
It seemed like the no BKB was fine, but when you get caught out of position that badly, then it's not so fine. And credit Riku for a really smart item choice with the Blade Mail. Obviously if Gyro had BKB, that Blade Mail would be totally useless, as it will not affect you when you have Magic Immunity. But since there is no BKB, it's working out quite well. Still, this is the problem for eL'Pride, is they win a team wipe, but can they actually do anything off of it? For now, they're just sitting back and farming. Dread's still 6. Will actually make that 8k ahead of the Weaver, the highest farm here on eL'Pride. It's still Rox.KIS's game, 180%, 200% their game to lose. But let's see if they can break the base now. Dread, the Courier respawning soon. It also died in that fight, which is why we see so much economic damage being done in the end. Roshan's respawning soon, though, and with the Aegis, then it should be much easier for Rox.KIS to take the fight in the base. And give this to Dread, even if he dies once, good luck killing him twice with Satanic.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they give it at least the Aegis to Dread, and then maybe give the Sheath to the Lifestealer to make sure that he doesn't go down either and can stay in the fights, because it looks like they've been focusing the Lifestealer quite a lot in the fights and doing heavy damage.
I don't like this positioning from Rox.KIS. They're all in the pit. The Clockwork hook could come any second. There's your Blink. There's your Echo. The hook flies forth. Dread taking a lot of damage inside of the Cogs. Has the Satanic up, though, and with the Satanic activated, is just not dropping. Aegis, who was it picked up by? I think it's still on the ground. No, it was picked up by the Lifestealer before he got pushed out of the pit. Now Dread manning up. Looks like he's going to win this man fight. The Bear just not quite enough. Needs a beard or something. Missiles flying forth onto the Lone Druid. Can they actually get a rage? Here comes your Lifestealer bomb. Blinking forward to Sharpbeak. Orbing forward as well. Gonna port into this. Looking for an infest, or rather an open wounds. He will find it on Android P. Android P is gonna melt. They get the additional kill. Massacre running the other direction. Looks like he will be able to escape in the end. It was a good initiation from eL'Pride, but since the Gyro actually used his Satanic, well, he doesn't really care.
Yeah, Sheath was actually managed to be able to be stolen by the Lone Druid, so he managed to snatch that Sheath. Gyrocopter being stuck in the cogs, couldn't reach that, but the Aegis still going the way of Rox.KIS, so Lifestealer being able to pick that up, but we saw all the lanes pretty much being pushed, so Rox.KIS couldn't really capitalize on that fight either. They had to go back and just push out all the lanes, but Dread is already going for it up in top.
I wonder if he's thinking about that Divine Weapons. Is he gonna go for it?
Feels like it, since he's got 3.6k gold, as well as he hasn't bought the MKB yet, so maybe.
Of course saving for buyback is pretty legit here, but I'm hoping, I'm praying, I must see it. We've seen, it's not even that original at this point to go for the Divine, but it's still fun.
It's just great to see it if he actually goes for it. I do love seeing Divines, just the damage coming out, especially on Gyros, with the flat cannon, pretty much killing the whole team in the backline. You pretty much watch him fight. Oh, we actually see the crit coming out instead, so his main damage is going to be quite a lot on the target he focuses, but it's hard though. If he gets entangled, the only target he's going to be able to hit is going to be that Bear, so not going to benefit from the crit too much, though the damage is going to help him out quite a lot.
Can eL'Pride have a mystical Hail Mary of a backstab smoke gank? I think they need it. They'd love to have that sight device on the Clockwork. It's a really important item for them. With that, they can maybe burst on the Lifestealer before he can Rage. Potentially the Gyrocopter before he can Satanic, although that gets hard. Well, he's got Daedalus now, so yeah, pretty freaking hard to kill. The crits are flying out. Not the most insane damage, but it should be more than sufficient. Just on that primary target that you're focusing, getting that lifesteal back, and not wanting to push just yet. It looks like Rox.KIS wants to maybe farm buyback, play this G-League style ultra safe. Well, we'll see if they do.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that. I do wonder... Oh, the lifesteal is actually getting closer to Abyssal Blade right now. Just gonna help him out to lock down either the bear, if he wants to stop that bear from hitting and getting entangles, or maybe the Weaver as well, making sure they can kill off him. Since he only got a Manta Style plus the Tranquil Boots and Drums, his HP isn't really there. He's got 1500 HP, and well, if you get stunned by that Abyssal, you're pretty much gonna die during that time.
Looks like they might be committed to the push bottom. Nope, they're gonna go farm some Ancients. So, you mentioned the Abyssal, that's probably something they're saving for. Dread's next item, or at least his buyback. Very important, because they have Keeper of the Light, so likely they'll be able to resummon him unless the Keeper of the Light gets caught in cogs, which is the main way that I see him dying immediately. But with good positioning, it really shouldn't happen, because Rox.KIS, they have the heroes that are going to jump in with the Puck and the Lifestealer. Dread should really sit a little bit farther back, engage secondary, as sort of the secondary carry, because he's a little bit squishier, but he's manning up in the front lines. He feels he won't die with this Daedalus, and I guess he's right. The flat cannon's bouncing out. Let's see if the backstab will come for Riku. He's got an angle for the cog, or for the hook, rather. And still waiting, still lurking. Just gonna go now. Catches out. The Lifestealer will drop, but has he just Dread drops the ult. Now unloading with Flat Cannon number 2 in a second's time. There you go. Not even using that Satanic. Doesn't need to. Destruction. Annihilation for Rox.KIS. Just too many carries. Not enough farm on the side of eL'Pride. That's another kill for Dread. Big Blink, big Echo. But to what end? It's just not gonna matter. Now Mono-Leaked. You will pay, Shaco. You will pay with your life, sir. Dread pops the Satanic, instantly back to full HP. Now diving the Lone Druid, focusing the bear. Make up your mind, man. Who's he gonna go for? He's diving the fountain, he's backing off, he's got another 3.8k, and this should be the end. At long last, there's your Hex from Sharfik. It was picked up right before this fight. A crucial pickup for them. A Rox.KIS give away 3 uncontested Aegises and a cheese, and then roll to victory anyway.
Yeah, just great play overall. I do like the decision, even though we were talking about it early on. The decision about going for the Helm of the Dominator early on really helped them out, though, to make sure that Dread just was on top of his farm all the time. Being up to 300 last hits 38 minutes into the game is quite good, especially when it's pretty much the last hits that the Weaver and the Lone Druid got together. So being able to sack those Ancients and getting the extra gold advantage really helped them out. Just Dread doing loads of damage in these fights. It worked out really well. It should be pointed out, eL'Pride didn't really do much to punish it. It felt like they had kind of 2 different strategies at play. One was the split push of Lone Druid Weaver, as well as Clockwork, and the other was, well, the 5-man of building early drums. We're gonna see that one last fight. Here's your hook. Not gonna be enough, I don't think. Sharfik get tangled though. Sharfik may drop. They already lost the Lifestealer, but he'll just buy back. Dread's still alive, and if he's alive, that means big trouble. Where's that Rocket Barrage? Just staying in range for the auto text. Doesn't even care about it. Double for him. Gonna look back towards the Earthshaker. Fissure deployed. Not gonna matter. Dread still unkillable. Triple for Lolik, but can he kill Dread? The answer seems to be no. Lolik gonna drop. Takes the rocket like a bear. And then he'll pay. Dread has the triple, wants the ultra. Ultra for him. Can he make it a rampage? Weaver's still in the game. Dropping quickly. One more crit. Rampage it is. Dread's going to end the game 15-11. Boy, he's really padding those kill streak stats this game. Yeah, and just overall, very well played from Rox.KIS. Not overreacting to the Aegis and the Roshan kills. Like we said, giving away 3 Aegises, pretty much uncontested. One of them they wanted to contest, but lost 2 heroes for it. But still keeping their shield, farming up, and knowing that if they go to late game and if they can defend their base, they're pretty much gonna have the upper hand. I gotta say though, I can't respect Dread, because now he goes Rapier, but the game's already over. Why you no go naked Rapier, Dread, when the game's still in play? Well, I guess he wants a win. Who can blame him? It's the new roster. It's a new day for Rox.KIS, and it's bright and sunny, at least for now, even though I think it is nighttime over there in Europe. But that's the end for game number 1. You're watching Starladder, guys. We have more matches coming up, so stay tuned. Our next match, I will let you know in just a few moments' time. Actually, I can let you know now. It's going to be No Tidehunter versus Photo, so stay tuned for that coming up right after this. Oh, by the way, he's Wepass.
I'm LD. If you enjoy his casting, be sure to follow him. Twitter.com/wepass_. As for me, Twitter.com/LDDota. Stay tuned.